Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez and you're watching my YouTube channel, Nicholas Montez. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everybody. I'm so excited to have y'all back together again. Now I know this video is a day late, but whatever. Today we are ranking the retro films that I saw in July of 2022. Let's go ahead and get started ranking all 28 of these movies. Now for me, the house party films have been all over the place, especially when it gets to like the third and fourth one. I just did not like this one. It just focused on a weird story about like babysitting kids and basically like a Ferris Bueller story, and I don't really think that fits into the house party world, and so it just turned into a film that I guess did not care about. I don't remember, and it comes in last place for me. Like House Party 4, this movie actually does include some of the characters from the previous House Party films, except the story that they're doing with them is just nonsense. Like, much like the story, it focuses on babysitting kids, complaining about it, doing all this stuff, and it's like, unlike House Party 2, what worked is that you had a story that was really good for a kid, but this story for a kid does not work, and it's all over the place, and I just do not like this film at all. Honestly, I can't even talk about this movie because this movie is boring as hell. I can't even talk about it. The only good thing is that you get to see Predator and Alien in a movie, and that's it. Now this movie is still not great. I think it's pretty much worse. It's pretty much just boring. It doesn't really do anything interesting. There is at least like a couple intrigue moments in the beginning, but overall, nothing interesting. Now this is a movie that I think worked. It had some cool story elements with Raph training this kid. It had some at least cool action a little bit, but overall the movie was just awful. Like the mix of going back in time and having Casey Jones babysit kids, babysitting people, grown men, like it just was so weird to me, and I think it was an odd direction to go in the franchise, but I still thought it was kind of a good movie at least. Alright, so I saw this movie and it's pretty much good, and I liked it. It had some cool moments. It had for some great moments of gore. That's pretty much all it does. It doesn't really do anything big or amazing. It's just a gory film that I like. Now this movie, I actually think is a better edition of the Predator franchise. It actually has some moments that I care about. It actually kind of does the original thing they did in the original Predator. But if I'm being honest, moments where you just shoot monsters repeatedly, doing this, and then like they use that 2 times in the movie. Like, bro, it's not anything new. But overall, I enjoyed the film. This was a film that I thought had good parts in it. I thought Chris Evans worked as Casey Jones. I thought the style of Ninja Turtles was great. The personalities of them was great. Personally, I just don't like the story of them adding monsters into this. It just felt weird and off, but I still kind of like the movie. So this was another movie that I watched a couple days ago, and I actually did like this movie. It had a good style of Guy Ritchie films. Some of the action was pretty good. I was expecting this movie to be like a heist action movie. Obviously it is a heist film, but it's not really action-packed, which I was kind of expecting a lot more action in this film to be expected, but I enjoyed the film. Now this is a film that I have some memories for. So it's basically about these two people that want to go to New York because this guy has a crush on a girl that he's been dreaming about his whole life. And the comedy bits in it are amazing. Like Tiffany Haddish is obnoxious as ever. The guy that played one of the hyenas in Lion King is like, he vomits in his hand and he keeps vomiting. It was so crazy. And then there's literally a scene where he wants to take a picture with a gorilla, goes into the gorilla station, into the gorilla cage, to take a picture with it, and the gorilla pins him down, pulls down his pants, and then he even does it to the front, and then he like, oh my god, like this is, wow, what am I watching? And then they wake up and their privates are strapped together in the Chinese finger traps. I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, what is this movie? And then there are some other humor bits that I thought was nice. And I thought the film was very funny, very hilarious. But the way that it kind of did the story was a little bit mixed for me, but I really enjoyed the film. Now this film, I think, works well enough. It tells a pretty much realistic story. It actually has real life characters, and it feels like you're watching real humans go through life struggles, and I kind of like that. Through the store, through sex problems, all that was pretty good. Now this is a movie that I thought was really well done. I thought the suspense of it all really worked, as this girl who kept needing to calm down to keep her oxygen level low. That was really nice in every aspect of the imagination. So I thought the film was really good. Now this is a movie that has a lead in the girl from Ted 2, I believe. I thought she worked in the movie. I thought the whole suspense of it all, the horror vibes of it were really good. The whole relationship between our two leads here I thought were great. The story itself of how exactly is the house haunted, they never really explain any of that. All in all, I thought the film was actually pretty good. Now this movie has a weird story, but what makes this movie so amazing, what makes this movie really great and really watchable, is really all the action sequences. Every action sequence in this film is amazing. From the staircase to the gunshots to, like, there's literally multiple times where Charlize Theron gets punched in the face and she's still going, and I'm like, how is she still going? Like, she gets hard punched. Like, all the action sequences, whenever someone throws a punch or throws a kick, it feels brutal. Like, oh my gosh, I love it. And so yeah, I liked this movie. I really enjoyed it. Now this is where part of the list gets really good for me, as this is a movie that was crapped on a lot for some reason. I guess it just was because it felt a lot like other Liam Neeson movies, Liam Neeson thrillers. Personally, for me, I thought this was a pretty good film. It kind of does go back to those sort of things with stories like this. But personally for me, I thought it was actually a really good movie. Like, it told a good story, it had good compelling characters, you actually liked the relationship between Liam Neeson and the kid, and some of the action was pretty good, so I enjoyed it. Now, this was a movie that I absolutely loved watching. Of course, the humor bits of all of the characters in the movie is great. Exploring different parts of SpongeBob is great. The character designs of the movie were really weird at times. Seeing Keanu Reeves as a dust in the wind sort of thing was very funny. The fact that the characters actually shout out their feelings of SpongeBob, true feelings, I thought that was great. The overall story of the king of Neptune City taking Gary because he wants to use her as like a moisturizer for his face seems kind of like a weird plotline, but I guess they had to use that story in a way in making an awkward story about best friends. I don't know. I still like the film though. So if I'm being honest, this is actually a movie that's related more to me. But if I'm being honest, I don't really relate to stories where it's all about movie, where it's all about, people, like, we have rights, we have orders. I found the story of it to be a little bit weird at times, a little bit confusing a little bit, but overall, I liked the movie. Now, this is a movie that I actually watched with my family at home because we rented it on Amazon Prime, and this was a movie that was shockingly really good, but also kind of disappointing at the same time. So on the positives, Ethan Hawke plays a great performance. After playing as Arthur Harrow in Moon Knight this past year, which I actually thought he played a good performance in that show, he plays such a good performance as a creepy old killer guy that kidnaps kids, and he works as this, and he's threatening, and even the stuff with the kid and the dad and the sister, I never really thought they would actually go into it because horror movies aren't really meant to focus on certain characters. I think the best interpretation of this, of focusing on characters in movies and horror movies, is really in Halloween 2018 and It. And I liked how this film kind of did that, and it reminded me a lot like It, where whenever someone's getting punched in the face with like a brick, it feels violent, and that's what It felt like. And so yeah, I thought the horror elements were great. I like the supernatural elements. It was all really good. Now, pretty much my review for John Wick is kind of like what I said with Taken, is that the movie, what makes it great is the action sequences. That's the best thing, is that whenever it feels real, it feels authentic, it just feels real, and I love it. So, I like John Wick, the action's great, Keanu Reeves works as this character. That's all I really have to say about this film. So this is another movie that I saw, and this was a pretty enjoyable little entertainment film about this Arlo Alligator person who tries to find his dad and goes to New York City and creates a friendship. It all works. It feels like an episode of a Nickelodeon. It feels more like a Nickelodeon movie that was made for a Nickelodeon show. I don't know. I mean, they have a series on Netflix now, but it was good. And this is another movie I saw this past month, and actually the most recent film I saw. And if I'm being honest, I actually really enjoyed this movie. At first I was like, this just feels like a generic high school movie, but it actually works. It tells a compelling story. When the emotions feel real as this girl is trying to not get pregnant, and there's also just some hilarious moments, whether the guy that has piercing on his private, like, that looks painful. Um, and then even like, the mom sees it at the end in the car, like, it's crazy. And I just thought it was an overall good movie. So I was actually watching this, and I heard a lot of mixed reviews on this film. And when I watched it, I actually really enjoyed it. I don't know if it was because it was Chris Rock that brought into it. I just really liked the story. I liked the way that it was one of those movies where I feel like I didn't care if it was a Saw film. I just cared about what I was watching, and that you have Chris Rock in the lead. It was pretty good. Yeah, also I have Samuel L. Jackson. It was kind of like an action movie in a way, except not really with the horror elements. And so I loved that. So this is an action movie that came out back last year, and personally, I thought this was a very well made action movie that came out. Just the way that its story is crafted, and finding ways to be emotional but also satisfying, but also doing the cool action that you want from a film like this. All in all, was great. Frank Grillo is in the movie, who played Crossbones in the MCU. Pretty good film. Now, House Party 2, I think, is the best house party film of all of them. I just think it's the best of all of them. It takes a story because of the death of his father. This movie actually deals with kid living up to what his father wanted him to do. That's what the whole movie's about. But at the same time, you can still have the raunchy humor, the raunchy comedy, and I love that, the way it actually combines it in the story, and it works. It actually feels like a really good movie, so I loved House Party 2. So now this is a movie that is one of the most classic films of all time, as it basically is a classic summer movie. You basically just see this story of kids going through summer, playing baseball, but also going on an adventure and trying to get the Babe Ruth's ball back. It's awesome. And it's just like, it's well crafted. There's scenes in it that are amazing. A boy trying to kiss a girl by trying to drown himself. Going on a roller coaster and then throwing up. Basically showing what life was like back in the 60s and 70s. And I thought it was a really good film. Now, Beauty was another film that I thought was great, as it deals with this girl that her parents will not let her be with this other girl because she's not family, she is not part of this, like, other people are evil, and it created this family. Honestly, I think I just like family dramas that focus on stuff like this, and it's just, it was conflicting. The acting was great. There's literally a scene where she just slapped the daughter because she talked back. It's like, damn, it was crazy. So I loved this film, and even the emotions are real. Okay, so these top two movies are movies that I absolutely love, and current movies that I've watched. These are the two films I absolutely love. So to talk about the playlist of happiness, the ultimate playlist of noise, I just love this movie, as it basically deals about this kid who he loves sound. He loves everything sound, whether it's the sound of the ocean, the sound of a tree breaking down, any type of sound you could think of, he loves it. And so one day he falls down and he gets a seizure, and he realizes that he has a tumor in his brain. So in order to remove that, if he removes that, he'll go permanently deaf, and he can't get hearing aids for it. So he basically goes on this journey with a girl to New York City to basically listen to his brother's music. But throughout that journey, they start to basically explore life in a way. Obviously, you're exploring sounds, but you're exploring life. That it's just every part, going to a roller skating thing, drinking and getting hungover for the first time. Um, Even the humor bits I thought worked. Even going into a pool and then like busting on your ass, like it's all there. The acting, I thought the acting was amazing too, where it's like the mom lied to his son that that he wasn't, that his older brother that died wasn't his hero, that he took pills to make him become another person. And it was just very emotional. It was so sad, and it just became such one of my favorite films of the year, so of retro films so far. Okay, so this is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time, since Joker. So if you don't know, this is from the creators of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and I love that film so much. And so let's just start talking about this movie. So as it's Sony, and they're pretty much great at all the animation stuff they do, the animation is simply fantastic. And it's different from what Into the Spider-Verse did, where they made that film look like a comic book. They do the same thing in this movie, but different and more real, and kind of cartoonish in a way. But what also I really loved about this film was really is that the movie felt relatable. Cause in the movie you have these four family members where you have, and I really relate to the sister and the brother, where the sister is making movies and her family does not understand that. Now, I can talk to my family about movies and stuff, but I don't feel as excited as I do with other people, where there's other people I talk to online that actually do like movies, and those are like my people to talk to for that. And I mean, I can still talk to them about movies and stuff, but I talk to those people in the movies where I can actually get excited with them about new projects and stuff. And so she's basically going to college, and then the mom. What's interesting about the mom is that she has an interesting arc where it's like, she's just funny. As she's played by Maya Rudolph, she's funny, where she tries to put the two dogs' eyes like straight because they're looking like the other way. So it's like it's so funny. And then the brother, which he just loves dinosaurs, and he's trying to phone people and trying to see if they want to talk about dinosaurs. Even the stuff when he tries to talk to a girl was pretty hilarious. But the stuff with the dad, I was thinking, they didn't really do anything fun. So I'm like, oh, I did hear something about the daughter and the dad having a relationship, having a sort of difficulty together. And I thought this was one of the highlights of the film, where the dad didn't think that she could make a living off of these movies, that she can't really do anything with this. And she never understood it, and he always talked about screwdrivers and pine cones. I mean, yeah, that was what it is. But throughout the entire film, you get awesome moments where they actually bond, but then you get the heartbreaking moment where she just didn't mean it at everything, but then she fixes it in the end. And when you get to the third act, I thought it was great, a great way to pay off that. And then even as you get into the robot invasion storyline, I think it was pretty cool. The villain plotline of it was weak, but I didn't care for that. But then also, when it comes to the pop culture references, whether it's the monkey video or even the Maya-hee, Maya-ha, I love the way that it actually is played throughout the entire film, and then it incorporates into the third act, and I loved it. It fit perfectly, it worked, it fit well with the animation style, and even with the mom being one of the action heroes in the film, I thought was great. And so the movie overall was just a great experience, such a pleasant surprise, and it's also a movie that you actually felt satisfied at the end when you saw the prologue, the epilogue, I mean. So I loved this movie. It was just a great movie in a long time. So that's my review that's pretty much my ranking of all the July 2022 retro films. Thank thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media stuff is in the about section over there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.